Sunday. So we're here live every Sunday doing NFL picks. Matter of fact, we're live every day, 365 days a year, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, coming off of college football Saturday. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm good. I want to say happy birthday first and foremost, Mitch.
Well, thank you. It's gonna be an inferno tonight when we light that cake on fire. So it's like when you get to be my age, you don't do the candles; they just light the whole freaking cake. It's like, just, here you go. They call the fire department. But thank you, I appreciate it. And I'm just at this point, I'm just happy when I wake up. Anyways, we got not really a full slate of NFL games. It's our smallest and Sunday card of the year. So in these cards, I generally like to be super selective and really just go for the ones. Yesterday in college football, it seemed like a pretty generic schedule. A lot of teams had the day off. A lot of teams had what looked to be layup games. But what we saw was really some games that were a lot more competitive than what people expected. The Cincinnati Bearcats struggled and the Oklahoma Sooners struggled. And generally when that happens, the way the polls work is Oklahoma will not be penalized and Cincinnati will get pushed to about 8th or 9th.
Oh, absolutely. You see that coming already.
Yep. They're just looking for an excuse to get them out. And I think that just winning by 7 points on the road is probably enough, even though Oklahoma clearly struggled at Kansas.
That was a terrible first half for them. I could not believe what I was seeing out of them.
But this is an Oklahoma team that we also saw struggle against Tulane. We saw them struggle against, pretty much almost lose the game against West Virginia had they been able to hold on to the ball. West Virginia looked to be in position to win that game. It hasn't been a great year for Oklahoma. They continue to win, but I can't see them hanging with a Georgia or Alabama or even Ohio State, who once again beat a 2-5 team and acted like they won the national championship. It's kind of, it's the way things go in Columbus.
They absolutely did. It made me laugh too. I'm a Buckeyes fan and, watching them win it was an easy win for them, but yes, again, they didn't win everything yesterday.
No, Indiana's 2-5 on the season. It's a lousy Indiana team. It's not even a good Indiana team. It's a bad Indiana team. I don't know. I struggle with college football. And then we saw the Oregon Ducks. Really what we saw yesterday from Oregon was we saw a team that's clearly growing, and clearly just getting better and better. And that defense is as good. They have an NFL defensive line. They could stick that defensive line, for the Houston Texans or something like that, and they would automatically be improved. They have two guys that are probably top 5 NFL picks on that defensive line alone for Oregon.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. What a game that was.
Yeah, they just
really fun to watch.
They really whipped UCLA in the trenches. They just whipped them up front. And how about those Oregon uniforms? Who came up with that?
I like them.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Them.
I like that one too. It was kind of, it looked like they just took a paintbrush and just went like this or something on them with black paint.
Yeah.
And I thought those some of the better ones that they've had. I like it way better than like the lemonade all yellow and stuff that they'll.
I don't like those bright lemonade neon colors. So I definitely like these uniforms a lot better.
But I thought the Ducks were a team definitely worthy of moving up. Of course, Penn State will move down. So, they won't move. They're not going to move Penn State too far down because they have that game on ABC next week against Ohio State. So it's like they don't want to move them too far, and that seems to be the way that it works, right? It's like
absolutely
they have the game coming up, and then there's a lot of other good games out there. Certainly, I caught a nice one with that Nevada Fresno game. Mm-hmm. Fresno catching the back door there. They had the chance, and then they fumbled, and then it was like you kind of knew that if they got the ball back, they were, Nevada was going to score because Fresno could not cover those wide receivers. I don't know if Nevada has NFL wide receivers or if or Fresno's secondary is just that small and bad. I'm not really sure.
I think it's just that bad.
Yeah, maybe
right? I just don't think they can get it together.
But Nevada has the 3rd best passing attack in the nation, so it's like maybe it is. Those guys were seriously. It was men against boys. It was amazing that that they didn't win the game. Fresno had few answers for them. They didn't get a lot of the calls. That's for sure. There was some tackles in the end zone. But anyways, we move forward to NFL, just trying to kill some time, give everybody a chance to join us across our various different channels. And, of course, we don't have Joe D'Amico with us today, so gives us a little bit of extra time. So we do have Ron Romanelli with us. Ron, the Gators were off yesterday, but the cocktail party has begun. The countdown has begun. There's 2 games that the Gators really count down to every year. One is this one. It is cocktail party week, Jacksonville, Florida. Draw a line right down the middle. You will see the blue and red. One of the coolest pictures that they show every single year. It's just a line that goes straight down the middle of the stadium. You can see this half is red and this half is blue. And it's just, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It's been called that as long as I could possibly remember. And it's amazing that they built the stadium in Jacksonville, the exact distance that is halfway between Florida and Georgia, the schools. I think it's, I believe it's intentional, just for this game.
Yeah, this is one of the bigger rivalries in college football. And, even though this is 2 teams in different directions, you got Georgia, outstanding this season, and the Gators in a bit of a down year especially after last week's loss to LSU. But this is still going to be a game where you see just as many fans for each side show up. I know a lot of my friends are very excited for this one, and I won't be in attendance, but I can't wait to see what everybody's, on their social media, all the videos and all the good times everybody has. Win or lose, it's going to be a good time for those Florida fans. I know that.
I really like the Gators' chances this week. I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I think that Mullen he's got to send it all out to the table on the table in this one. There's nothing to hold back. There's no reason to save anything. This is the game, and Florida. It's not like Florida gets the scraps when it comes to recruiting either. I know that Georgia's had some great recruiting classes, but Kirby Smart hasn't really been able to hold on to those guys once they've gotten into Georgia. The transfer portal. While it's been a nice thing for the players, for all the guys who committed, and what does commitment mean anymore, right? It means you can transfer out if you want to play right away. The way the college rules are, it used to be you committed, you were committed, right? You committed, you were pretty much committed. You have to sit a year and all that stuff if you wanted to transfer. But now they have the portal, and it's like, so the number 1 recruiting class from 2 years ago might not be the number 1 recruiting class anymore. Guys like who give teams the number 1 recruiting class, like the year Georgia, had Justin Fields, they were the number 1 recruiting class. He was a big part of that. And then when he transferred out to Ohio State, what happens to that recruiting class? And I think, we see that with Georgia, where the depth isn't what it was a couple of years ago, but that front line is unbelievable, right? It's like they've been able to have that competition in between. But, I think Florida, no shrinking violet when it comes to the recruiting process either. They get first crack at the state of Florida talent, which is the best talent in the country. They get first crack, and it always has gone Florida, Florida State, Miami in that order. Who gets what? But with Alabama, Ohio State, and all those other schools really, digging their heels there. I don't know. I think Florida's got the talent to go with them. Mullen's got no excuses here. He's got no excuses.
What would you say the spread would be for this one?
Oh, I think it's going to be double digits. I think it's going to be 11.
Yeah, definitely.
11. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it's in the 8-9 range. I really wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah. We saw Florida come one stupid 2-point conversion, play call away from, taking Bama to overtime. And, Georgia's a good team this year, but Florida can run with these guys. Georgia just looks faster than a lot of the teams that they play. And yeah, when Florida played Vandy, right, they look faster than them too. And it's like, if this turns into a track meet, I think Florida has the guys that I think they can run with them.
Yeah, I do.
I think they can run with them.
Yeah. I don't know. If it's a defensive game, I think obviously Georgia has a huge advantage. But if it is a track meet, like you said, I do think Florida does have the advantage there. I don't think Georgia can get in that kind of style of games. They haven't really been in that game all year. So it'll be interesting to see.
We saw Florida punch it up
confident
the
in the
gut
moment.
on Bama, and I think we haven't really seen too many teams be able to do that. And I think if you can do that to Bama, you could probably find a wrinkle against Georgia because these guys are super aggressive. And Mullen runs like a lot of delays and stuff. And like he's the guy that kind of developed that jump pass, remember, that Tebow did. So I think that those type of plays are going to work against an aggressive defense.
Yeah.
And plus,
they have extra time to game plan for it.
Plus the adrenaline, of the cocktail party. It's
it's a huge rivalry. So really, anything can happen. In most years, it's a coin flip kind of game. So, I definitely think taking the points would be a good way to look at it. But I'm not sure if they can get it done outright. But we'll see.
like the over in beer sales at that one.
Oh, me too.
Anyways, NFL Sunday. It's like games like that, and Joe and I, she's not as immersed in college football as I am, and we kind of we've been going over a lot of the rivalries and the trophy games and the mascots and a lot of that on our college football show, but this was one that we didn't go over. This is the world's largest cocktail party. We like clean old-fashioned hate, Georgia Tech, and we like some of these other games, and Notre Dame took the jeweled shillelagh yesterday from USC, but I think Floyd of Rosedale's this week as well. So, anyways, what do you got for us today in the NFL?
Yeah, I heard what you said earlier about how, the small NFL schedule, I think you got to be very selective. And that was what I was doing this past week, just looking for my spots in the NFL card. Not my favorite card as far as free plays go, but I do like my premiums, and I do like this free play with the Giants and Panthers. We have two bad offenses going at it at MetLife Stadium. The Giants seems like they have a million injuries at skill positions. I'm just waiting for them to call Plaxico Burress, to get on the field, because no wide receiver depth on this team anymore. Galladay, Tony, Sterling Shepard's banged up, Darius Slayton's banged up, no Saquon Barkley. Even the offensive line is banged up with Andrew Thomas. He's going to be missing this game. So, an already bad offensive line got worse. And the Panthers, they put a ton of pressure on quarterbacks. I think they have the sixth most sacks in the league this season. So we saw what Daniel Jones can do under pressure last week. It was miserable. He had his worst game of the season, maybe even one of the worst of his career, turning the ball over left and right. The Giants only put up 11 points, and 8 of those points were in garbage time. So I think Jones is in trouble in this game. But on the other side, Sam Darnold hasn't shown much in the past few games either. Since that 3-0 start to the season, the Panthers are 0-3. Darnold's thrown 6 interceptions in those 3 games, and I think the big missing piece has been Christian McCaffrey. Since he's gone down, the offense has just not looked the same. Even though I do like what Chuba Hubbard has done, I just think McCaffrey, I think it's undervalued what he does in the passing game, the running game. He's just an overall stud on offense. The Giants' defense hasn't been great, but Sam Darnold hasn't been either, and I think this is a big game for him on the road. I'm not sure if I trust him in this spot, so I wouldn't be surprised to see like a defensive touchdown, scoop and score, pick six kind of. Look at those props on your sports books. They probably give you good value on that. But I think we have 2 bad offenses go at it, and I think the bad offenses rule the day. So I'm going to take the under in this game. Should be an ugly one. I think that we see a lot of 3-and-outs and just a bad offense from both sides.
Yeah, I was looking at here, let me get back on the screen with you guys. Joe, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, this is one of the games that I do like. I'm leaning on the Panthers in this one. I really do think this is a team that could make the playoffs if they start getting somewhere. They have to win this game. The Giants, on the other hand, this team is just falling apart. So many injuries. I don't see them doing it. We look at the Panthers. They're 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 on the road. They're a stronger road team. And I do believe in Sam Darnold. Yes, he hasn't been playing up to expectation the last couple games, but I can see him coming back. And McCaffrey does make an absolutely huge difference. But I think Sam Darnold's ability we've seen him get the touchdowns. We've seen him do things, especially against this Giants team. I see him having a way better day. I do like the under as well. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, Ron.
Well, I was looking at this one, and oddly enough, I was looking over at our PickDawgz betting tools, and it had actually one of the dog streaks was on this game. So I'm going to show you guys what that one was. It's this. The Giants have covered in their last 5 as dogs against the NFC South. This is right from our PickDawgz under the betting tools. It's the top one on the homepage of the betting tools site. So if you guys haven't checked out our betting tools, all sorts of stuff like this, and the one at Sports Chat Place, equally as informative. I really climbed down a rabbit hole on that thing this morning, looking at just the standings and all the thousands of different options. But I've been leaning Panthers all the way because I really like fading the Giants, right? I mean, who doesn't? After last week, right? I mean, that was just that was infinity pool money we won, right, on the Rams. But I just think that in this one, it's like that trend is hard to go against, and without McCaffrey, they have been also. I hate to say this, but I think that we see the Dirty Tricks Committee come out a lot in some of these games, and the Panthers aren't really a team that's going to get a call in New York. I just don't see that scenario. I think the Panthers are the type of team that don't get the call in New York, and no one notices because it's the Panthers, right? It's like no one says anything, right? Because it's okay because it's the Panthers, one of the smaller market teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, I love that website. I think it's a great addition. Thousands of hours of sports information. Somebody like me, you guys know I love my stats, and I think it just provides so many extra things. I'm definitely adding it to my handicap, and got to look at a lot of the trends there. And it's so just right in front of your face. You can just get it so easily. Like Mitch said, he goes on the website, find the trend, and now I actually kind of agree with them. I think I do think this game goes under, and because of that, I think points are valuable. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this one fall into that 3-point spread. It stayed at 3 all week, despite a lot of public pressure on the Panthers. So I'd be leaning towards the Giants and the points as well, but I definitely like that under.
What do you think about Sam Darnold really being familiar with losing in that stadium? Do you think that has anything to do with
this? This stadium gives them nightmares. Everybody said, it's the Jets. And after the first 3 weeks, you can't play for the Jets. Nobody can play for the Jets. But now it looks like we're getting the old Sam Darnold back. So I think he's having some nightmares. I think he's had some issues playing in this stadium. I think he's been way worse at home than he is on the road. So
it's terrible.
But now he's on the road. But it's, who knows? But
the Giants also at home, when they're home underdogs, they're terrible. They're 7-19 against the spread in their last 26 as a home underdog. I don't like that.
Yeah, but against the NFC South, 5 in a row. As a home
underdog. True.
Bunch of different things to look at here.
Lot of angles. This is like I said, when you have less games and you can really dig into them, it's like you can really go down the rabbit hole.
So check that out. Stats.sportschatplace and PickDawgz.
Someone said it here.
And by the way, happy birthday, Mitch. It's a national holiday today. We got a holiday next week and Halloween, but this day is a lot more important.
Yeah, it's been quite a month. We're enjoying it. Is that all you have for us today, or you got another game? Or
yeah, as far as free play goes, that's what I got. But on the website, I got my NFL Super Sunday Trio. Like I said, you got to pick your spots on today's card. I think it's a bit tricky, and I really like the 3 premiums I have on the board, all 3 against the spread. One of them's at 1 o'clock, the other at 4, and then the Sunday night football game as well. So check that out. I've been 3 straight winning days. I'm 10-5 in my last 6 days, so starting to heat up. Now's a perfect time to grab me, whether you grab a long-term plan or that 3-pick plan today. That'll be a good idea. So check me out, PickDawgz Premium.
You wouldn't say, I don't want you to say grab me too close to Bitler. It's we know how he gets. You might see a $30 tip, but next time you go to pick him up a cheeseburger.
Somebody bought my ear.
Fantastic.
Brian Bitler. Surf Sharps a lot.
All right, Ron. Well, thanks for joining us. I look forward to talking to you next Saturday. I'm sure you'll be ready to go for that Georgia-Florida game.
I'm ready.
Georgia,
I can't wait.
Say it. Florida is the home team. Is designated home team this year, or is Georgia?
I think it might be Georgia, but I don't know. It just seems like the Gators have so many home games every year. But
well, Georgia has plenty of those too. So
yeah.
both these teams. No one has more home games than Michigan, but These guys both have plenty. Anyways, thanks, Ron. We will see you next week. We appreciate you dropping by. That was Ron Romanelli. Interesting take. That's like a game that, like, on a if you have a full NFL card, it might slide under the radar. And it's like, it's one of those games that, like I said earlier in the week, I was, Panthers. I saw that angle, and it's kind of like, I'm just not going to bet this thing at all. It's like I got.
Completely understandable. That's a really strong stat.
Yeah.
I can't say strong stat. Say strong stat 5 times in a row. I'm struggling saying it once.
We'll let you do that one. But next up, we're gonna bring in Al Ninos, who of course is still might be a little red-eyed from crying about his Dodgers. It was an ugly and pretty much anticlimactic ending there for the Dodgers. I think when Matzik struck Mookie Betts out on 3 pitches, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin with runners of second and third. That was I've seen that same scenario before when the White Sox won the World Series, when they actually won it in 2005, right? But when it's over when you see that happen. We did it to El Duque did that to Big Papi in that series. It's the exact same scenario. And when you see that happen, it's kind of like, this is a team that's going, I think the Braves are going to be a tough out.
They'll definitely take the win out of you, and especially when you're behind like that. I mean, it was a tough series for the Dodgers. Definitely made a mess out of their rotation, as we talked about before the show. But I'm sure you couldn't have asked for much more of a better birthday gift for yourself. So happy birthday, Mitch. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Well, I enjoyed my Canes were my birthday gift.
There you go.
Getting that win over NC State. They had every chance to blow the game, which they have been doing in recent years, and they didn't do it. They held on and got the win.
But yeah, anyways, tough Saturday for me in the MLB, but moving on to the NFL, and hopefully this will cheer me up a little bit.
What do you got for us today in NFL action now?
We looked at a couple of big dogs over the last couple of weeks, which didn't work out too well for us. Time to flip the script a little bit here. We're going to look at the Cardinals, who are hosting the Texans after a very impressive 37-14 win over the Browns. They should score at will in this game, while Houston should struggle to find the end zone yet again. Kyler Murray's destroyed most defenses he's faced. He had one slow week in San Francisco, scoring just 17. But scoring more than 30 points in all their other games this year. And you're not going to see this offense get held to less than 21 points too often this year. So I expect another good game out of this offense. Not just Kyler Murray. He has some good weapons to play with out there, too. And, on the other side, you got Davis Mills, who's thrown 7 interceptions to just 5 touchdowns. So, as I said, they're going to struggle to find the end zone this one. You can expect another interception or 2 out of him in this one. He should be throwing the ball a lot, coming from behind against the defense. We should be expecting the pass. So I expect him to have some ugly numbers again. We're getting here what's looked like the best and definitely the most consistent team so far this season. This is a big number. It's the biggest spread on the board, but I'll lay the points with the Cardinals here.
Joe, what do you think?
I hate this spread. I really do. It's just way too many points to take either of these teams. The Texans are one of the worst teams. Cardinals are one of the best. I'd be looking more at different kind of ways we could bet this game. I'd be looking at the Cardinals team total, leaning on that over for that. I think they have a fantastic day. I just don't like taking this one straight up. The Cardinals are absolutely fantastic, but we know any given Sunday. So for me to lay 18 points, I really just don't want to do it. Do I think that do it? Yeah, 100%, but I'm not touching that. I'd look at the Cardinals team total.
When we look at this, the Cardinals' average margin of victory is 14.2 points, and the Texans' average margin of defeat is 13.3 points. Neither of those eclipse this 18-point margin that we're looking at here. Matter of fact, there's a 5-point cushion, basically, to work with there. So so the leans that way. But
that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Texans have faced some weaker teams, and Cardinals been up against some better teams as well. So I mean that explains.
Well,
that
it depends.
maybe
they're you know.
It's a huge spread. I can't blame anyone for not liking it, but I think it's a big blowout here.
All right. Well, I'm not. I don't have a dog in this fight, so I don't really care. I wouldn't touch a game with an 18-point spread unless I was taking the dog, and I can't get behind the Texans either. So I'm kind of with Joe. I'm not gonna straight Ruffolo the game. I'm just gonna find another angle and probably bet it at halftime on our show.
I can't wait for a halftime bet on this game. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's where the opportunity is gonna be. I just if you're a team like the Cardinals and you're in games like this, you have some bigger fish to fry ahead of you. At what point do you pull your starters? And the thing is, like we talked about yesterday, it's like once a team scores on another team and the whole shutout goes out, then, you start pulling the defense things too out of the way. So it's not really, I don't know. It's not one of my, it's not a game for me, but I could see the angle, especially as a free pick.
And I do have another angle on it as a premium pick as well. So I do agree there are other angles on the game.
What else do you have for us?
Coming off 1-1 on the show last week, but did go 5-0 in the NFL on Sunday, last Sunday. So I do have a 5-pack in the NFL as well as my best bet in the NBA and NHL. So I have a 7-pack if you want to check all the sports out. If you're just into the NFL, grab the 5-pack or grab a long-term pass. Great time for that with all these sports going on.
Yep, the Cardinals play the Packers on Thursday, so they've got a short week. But outside of that, that's Randy Chambers from Sports Chat Place who brought us that little tidbit of information there. Randy, what do you think of the new betting tools site on Sports Chat? I love it. I mean, I've been doing Sports Chat for 14 years, and I'm so excited to have something like that on our site. It's like it's unbelievable. I think once people really start to dig into it, also when we start to release all of the later phases of it, I think people are just going to freak out that we don't. People are going to say you should. People will say the same thing they said about all my free picks that I started. When I started 14 years ago, you should charge for all of this, and my answer is going to be the same. No, I'm going to let everybody else charge for it, and I'm going to give you bigger and better for free. And they'll say, how are you going to make any money? I don't know. I worry about that later. I don't know. It always seems to work itself out. But anyways, Al, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, just one play on the show tonight. So
no NHL, no NBA, here. No nothing, no pucks, no, maybe a little side here. Maybe puck line,
sure.
Something.
Sure. You want a big old puck line? I'm on the Bruins -1, but
Joe, what do you think of that?
I'm not loving it, but I'm on it.
Well, remind me again who the Bruins play. Off the top of my head, I can't
playing
remember.
The Sharks, who've been pretty hot to start the season.
You're taking them -1.
I'm taking the Bruins -1. Yeah, money line and puck line. So
money line and puck line. Let's take a look. I'll take a look at this thing. Well, Mitchie pucks this thing. Yeah, the Sharks 4-0 on the puck line. That's a Mitchie Pucks type team, but the Bruins 2-1 on the puck line. I don't know. I think this one is worth a shot on the Sharks. I think it's well worth a shot. They're unbeaten 4-0, but the fact that the Bruins are -200, the books are maybe trying to beg you to take the Sharks, as Bitler would say. And so Bitler's probably on the Bruins too, so I will have to go on the Sharks.
I think so too. Sharks are off to such a good start right now.
It's a pure hypothetical anti-Bitler play. Is what that is. We'll put words in Bitler's mouth, and then we'll bet against it.
You know what? I think it's going to be an under game, so I'd rather take the Sharks plus the points, plus the 1.5.
I could do the Sharks 1.5. Well, we could always ask the expert.
Wait, we didn't say
Sharks.
Which was which. Oh. Okay.
The lucky pen.
There you go. Was it Sharks on both heads and tails there?
No. It's always heads for the home team.
Right.
Heads for the home team, tails for the road team. Same flip we've been doing for years. It's the same flip. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you next week. Maybe next week we should tell everyone, hey, if you want an NBA or side NHL play, have it ready. That game's got a 1 o'clock start.
Yeah.
I thought this was
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that next week because I know people have been asking in the comments when we're going to start giving out other sports on the weekend.
Thanks to everybody for all the birthday wishes. I'm reading all of them. I appreciate them all. Thank you, guys. Anyways, that was Al Ninos. Interesting take there. 18-point favorite on the Cardinals. But I just think that's, for me, it's one of those games where I can't get behind the Texans because they've been so bad. And the Cardinals have been so good against really good teams. And he's right, that we haven't really seen the Cardinals play too many of the dregs teams. Can they get up for this? Is this with the Packers on Thursday? Is this a trap?
It smells like it. It smells like a huge letdown spot for them.
Well, we're going to find out that Joe Madden sniffer is working on this one.
But again, I can't get behind the Texans either. There's no way I'm taking them plus the points. And then sitting there in a situation like where people took the Giants against the Rams. Like, I'm not going to put myself in that position.
Okay, well, next up, we're going to bring in Kevin Thomas, who joins us here today. Kevin was on 2 weeks ago, I believe, on the show. I don't think he was on last week. I think he was on 2
Was it? Time's flying. I thought it was last week.
Looking for his name on my
2 weeks ago.
On my
wow.
name. I might have to create a name for him on this roster of names because I can't find him. Yeah, we'll have to just have him on without a name, and then we'll have to create one for him as we go. It happens. We do it on the fly. We adjust. All right, we'll just bring him in anyway. He's got no name, but it's Kevin Thomas. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy birthday.
Thank you. How are things going for you this football season?
A little over 58% winners. Thursday kicked my ass though. I was on Denver. Took that loss, but I'm still hitting a little over 58% for the season, so I'm doing pretty good.
That was a tough game on Thursday, and it was one of those games where, I don't do a lot of totals. Brian, he doesn't do it. Every total that Brian does is always like the total of the year, right? So it's got to be like, because he only does like one. So, it was that type of game, and it was one of those games where Joe and I really were able to hammer the halftime. But as far as so I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about a Browns Broncos game with backup quarterbacks and everything else going on there. That was a joke.
Yeah, I was the same as you, Kevin. I had Denver on the money line. I really thought they were going to be able to get it done.
They're pathetic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're good if they're playing the Giants, the Jets, or the Jaguars. That's become crystal clear. What do you have for us today?
I'm looking at the Falcons and Dolphins game. That line opened at a +2 Falcons and is now currently a -2.5 Falcons. We're looking at the Dolphins. They're 1-5. They're pretty much in last place, and the only way they can make the playoffs is winning their division, and they're not going to win that with the Buffalo Bills there. We know the other teams are going to be the Ravens, Bengals, the other teams taking a wild card there. So I don't think the Dolphins are in it. I really don't even know the Dolphins' identity yet. I mean, are they a run team? Are they a pass team? They got all these weapons, and they don't utilize them at all. I had Gaskins in my fantasy league. I had to drop him because it was horrible. They don't use him at all, and I think the kid's a stud. I'd be using him in short passes and everything. The defense, they're opportunistic. Flores being a linebacker himself from BC, you think this team would be a little bit more defensive, savvy. I know they've been doing a lot of injuries going over to London. They opted not to take their bye week after London, which the Falcons did do. So the Falcons come into this one healthy, and Matt Ryan don't have a lot of time left, so he don't want to lose this game. He wants to win. I think they had to sit down. He had to talk. Kyle Pitts is showing up playing. They got Ridley, who, as of right now in fantasy, he's going to play, so he's huge. Even if Howard is the guy covering him, I think Ridley can open that game up for Kyle Pitts in the middle. So I'm looking at all that there, and then you look at Matt Ryan. Even with what he's been playing with, he has 10 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, 2 interceptions on the season. Tua came back, had a great game in London, but he still got the loss. So, like I said, no identity, and you got to think in the back of Tua's head, Deshaun Watson. Flores came out and said, "Hey, Tua's my guy," but does Sam Ross think he's the guy? Is that going to sell tickets? Deshaun Watson's going to put tickets in the seats. He wants to play in Miami. I mean, there's tons of washes down there for him, so that's the perfect place for him to go. So I think Tua thinks about that in the back of his head. So I like the Falcons here taking this one. Minus the 2.5.
Joe, what do you think?
No, I've got to ride with Miami on this one. I think Tua's fighting for his life. The possibility of him getting traded away, he's going to come out with everything, especially being in Miami. The Falcons are just not a team that I can get behind. Yes, they're off a bye. I wish I had the stats of them winning off a bye because in back of my head,
7-2
7-2, they are winning off a bye. Okay, I'm remembering the 2 then because in my head they haven't done well.
Yeah, with eight different head coaches. Right? So that's the other part of that.
Right. And I'm just looking at it. I don't believe in the secondary for the Falcons. And I think Tua's going to have a big day utilizing those holes there. I don't know. I think people are putting too much weight that Miami is coming from London. They had a loss there that they really should have won that game. It came down to those final seconds. And
a crap call that they never showed a replay of.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
never showed the replay.
Yeah, and I just think everyone and their dog's on the Falcons today, and I can't get behind it. So if I'm betting this game, it's Miami plus the points or nothing.
Yep, I still got my Dolphins season tickets, and I'm getting all sorts of emails from them today. So they're expecting some people at the game, or they're begging me to go to the game, and that's not going to happen. It's not up for the schlep, as they say. But I think that I think that a lot of these Dolphins stats are skewed because Tua hasn't played. And they've had Jacoby Brissett, and the offense has been built around Tua. They've had some key injuries. Howard is doubtful for this one. I don't know if he's going to go or not, but I think it's really not the secondary's problem. It's been the pass rush that hasn't been there, and I think that part of the problem for the defense is that the offense has hung them out to dry. Exactly what you said. They haven't got the running game going because they haven't got the passing game going. They needed a wide receiver to stretch the field. They bring in Will Fuller, and he's got a hurt pinky or something. It's like, and he hasn't played and he's not going to play because he's got because his finger is hurt. I mean, come on, it's like, Waddle was brought in to stretch the field. He hasn't really done that either. And, Brissett, not really the guy to stretch the field, either at quarterback. So we haven't really seen it. We saw that Tua did play last week. His timing was a little off. I think that a lot of people, when we look back at that game, and we heard other people talk about this as well throughout the week, is that there was a key play in that game where it was a 3rd and 2, and Tua clearly had the room to run for the first down. Instead, he went for this little lob pass like this, and it was his timing that was off from not playing. He missed a wide open receiver, which would have been a touchdown. And that was the difference in the game as far as the points go. I just think that I think the Dolphins are being way underestimated here. I think they roll it up on the Falcons, man. This is Matt Ryan and the Falcons. These guys are all right. They have all these numbers. This is the Atlanta Falcons number right here. 29.6 points against per game. They are 31st in the NFL in one of the 2 major categories, which is how many points do you score, how many points do you allow, right? Because the team that scores the most points usually
I have them ranked 13th on defense for points against, and the Dolphins ranked 30th.
No, that's in yards per game. So the Falcons are 13th in yards allowed, 352.6 per game. The Dolphins at 417.8. And like I said, they've spent way more minutes on the field than the Falcons.
And who's going to stop Cordell Patterson? That's my question. The guy's a freak.
Well, I mean,
he's a wide receiver, running back freak.
We've seen this guy for the last 10 years. He's fully capable of stopping himself. I mean, we saw him at Tennessee. He was exactly the same way there. He came into the NFL. They had to use him as a kick returner because he just was incapable of running passes. patterns. The guy can run like the wind. He always has been able to do that. But the problem is that, he runs wherever he feels like running and not where he's supposed to be. And that's why he makes his quarterbacks look bad by throwing the ball directly to the defender that is running the pattern that he's supposed to be running. I don't know. I can't get behind the Falcons.
Falcons have two of their corners coming back, and then they have Marlon Davidson. I mean, the kid's a stud up there. I think they're gonna wreak havoc here. I think they had to sit down, like I said, and it's now or never. Matt Ryan isn't getting any younger.
I will say to everybody out there watching the show, I think this one is one of those games that you can make a really strong argument either way. But I will say one thing, okay, and that is, I think teams that play with black uniforms that play 1 o'clock games in Miami is a death sentence. And I think we've seen this year after year after year since I was a little kid going to the old games at the Orange Bowl. And you get into that 1 o'clock game in Miami in those black uniforms, and they, by the third, fourth quarter, they're peeling these guys up off the turf with the cramps and everything else. While the Dolphin players, it's just another day at South Beach,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a feeling more of those fans are going to be rooting for Kyle Pitts.
I don't think so. I don't see it. All right, well, it should be a good one. What do you have going on at PickDawgz today? This is a good one.
You can still get, I like the lively 3-pack.
I enjoy the lively conversation.
I got the 3-pack going on in the NFL. And then I have I actually have an AFC total of the month you can get to. That's not included in the 3-pack, so you can get on both of those. But I do have a prop bet for this game, too. I would take Kyle Pitts and Gesicki, both tight ends, to score a touchdown here. You can't go wrong because both teams like to utilize those tight ends.
Oh, I wonder if you could, if a book has, that exact bet. I know, in Europe,
you can find
Bet
it.
365
You can make some.
Yeah.
MGM lets you make your own sometimes in some of the props.
Well, you can go to our betting odds site, sign up for BetMGM. I think they're offering a $1,000 risk-free bet. I don't think you could do that bet, $1,000 risk-free, but I think I think it's got to be just a bet on a game in order to do it. But all right. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Going to hopefully make it back again soon next week or.
Thanks for having me.
We know those colder months are coming, and that's when your availability is. So we look forward to having you. We're going to be here all year long. We're going to do this year-round basketball season, and you name it. So,
hey,
best of luck
guys.
Today, Kevin.
Thank you.
Same to you guys. Good luck to everyone.
That was Kevin Thomas. Always fun to talk to the guys that we don't get to see too often, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah, this fresh take there, and we don't have to agree on everything. Gonna bring
No, that's what's good about this show. We're giving everyone all of our thoughts. It's not scripted.
No, it's absolutely unscripted. Trying to figure this stuff out. But anyways, we have a whole slew of people in the green room. If there's anyone that needs to get out, raise your hand. If not, I will just randomly pick someone. Unless, Joe, you want to pick someone? No, I don't say. I see 0 hands raised.
No hands?
No one. They have no hands.
Why don't we bring James in then?
Okay, James Clark it is. Let's see. And I'm still not too good at this, but
You're doing better than I would ever do, so.
Try and see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see which game James wants to talk about here. There's so many good games on the card today. It's going to be a lot of fun watching football.
That's it. Here, I see what happened. Oh, no, that's the hand. All right, we'll get this shortly. I don't see where I put, here we go. There we go. Because I had to make that Kevin Thomas, which I actually had it made.
Oh, okay. You found it late.
And then James. Well, we could bring him in with no name and I'll fix it. Anyways, James.
Yeah, everyone out there, remember, it's Mitch's birthday. Hit that thumbs up for him.
Anyways, James, welcome to the show.
Well, first, I'd like to say happy birthday, Mitch.
Thanks, James. It's been going on for a couple weeks. We've been celebrating it here. It's we're going to extend this one out a little ways. There was a shipping problem on my birthday dinner, so it's going to be a little while.
I hear you.
I got no problem with it.
Yesterday was my little girl's birthday. She turned 3. So
Well, happy birthday to her.
y'all
Yeah, happy birthday.
one day after the other. Y'all celebrating birthdays.
It's a good month.
Yes.
Well, what do you have going on today?
Well, my first game, I'd like to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. And I do not understand why this total is so low. You got two teams that love to score the football. You know, you look at if you look at out of the 5 games, Baltimore has scored 24 or more points 4 of the 5 games, and same thing for Cincinnati scored. And that's all these two teams got to get 24 apiece. Well, the total it dropped. It was at 46. Now it's I see it at 45. I'm just loving the over in these two teams because, you know, both these teams, especially Baltimore, they got a lot of injuries on the defense. And, you know, Joe Burrow, you know, he's going to march you down the field and throw touchdowns. We know what Lamar does. If they don't score the first half, they're going to score 40 the second half. So I really like the over in this game.
Joe, what do you think?
This one, I'm confused with the total on. I agree with you. This looks like it should go over, but when we start looking at stats, I think the Ravens actually will struggle against this Cincinnati's defense. It's only allowing 18.5 points per game. And when we look at Cincy's last 5 games, all 5 have hit that under number. So the total is something I'm staying away from because I completely agree with you. I can see it going over. And it's moved down a point. 45.5 seems easy, but it seems too easy, and it feels like it's a trap and it's going to be an under game. So I'm staying away from the total.
I'm looking at our stats on the site, the new thing. It's like every time I look at this thing, I end up going just down another rabbit hole. It has like all the total stuff on here, so let's see exactly what it says. The over under, and that's the over under. What does this mean? I don't even know what some of this stuff means. It's so it takes you so deep down the hole here, but yeah, it's like both these teams aren't allowing a ton of points, and the Bengals, you know, 1-5 to the over, and the Ravens 3-3 to the over. I don't know. I could see this thing going either way. Probably a straight avoid for me as far as the total goes. I think this is going to be a pretty good game, and you know, it's definitely a what do you call the test game, you know, for the Bengals. Yeah. It's like, are they ready for this? Because if you can go into Baltimore and you know, even give the Ravens a game, then, you know, maybe you are ready to be a playoff team. If not, well, then you're the team that drafted first 2 years ago, and, you know, you're making some nice moves forward. So should be a good one, though.
Yeah, they're fighting for, you know, the division lead here, both of these teams here. So I just really like the scoring. Like I said, I know both of these teams is not allowed a lot of points, but both of these teams have scored a lot of points. So, and it's warm in Baltimore. I'm not far from Baltimore, where I live, and it's going to be a pretty day. So I look for a lot of touchdowns today.
Well, the Ravens are minus 225 to win the division, and the Bengals are plus 1,000. So that tells you where the where the futures on this things go, which is nowhere near in line with the odds for this game, which is kind of crazy, right? But what else you got for us today?
I also have I'm looking at the Sunday night game tonight. You know, the Colts and the 49ers. You know, two teams that's really struggling, you know, in the win column here. You know, but I like the Colts tonight on the money line. You're getting plus 170. And the reason I like the running game. I think the Colts have got a better running game here. I think their defense steps up here. You know, they've been playing pretty good defense here of late. You know, and I don't think the 49ers, they didn't figured out who they are. You know, last year they was the running team. This year they've had running back. If the running back to go down, you know, are they going to be a pass team? Is it going to be Garoppolo's team? You know, this 49ers team's up in the air, and I look for the Colts to come in and get a win tonight.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this. I think this is a 49ers team that has just been struggling after struggling after struggling week in and week out against a Colts team that really has been trending in the other direction. They're pulling themselves together. When we look at these two matchups, the underdog has gone 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings. The Colts are also 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 road games. It leads me to believe the Colts probably win this one outright.
Yeah, I'm not a big Carson Wentz guy, but I really hate Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and I hate quarterback controversies. It just means that no one's good enough to take the job. And I think it creates unrest among the team. I know, it's like you get in these situations, and it's like now they put Garoppolo in because they realize Trey Lance is just dead money at this point, and was the waste of a pick. So it's like now you have to say, all right, he's injured, so he can't even be active for the game, so this guy's not looking over his shoulder. Kind of what Kevin was saying about Tua with Deshaun Watson in Miami. And that's why Flores says that this is our guy, and he has stuck with that. In Miami, by the way, he said it in the preseason before all the news came out. He has said it all along. But in this one, I don't like quarterback unrest at all, and the 49ers have been dreadful at home this season. So I'm with you. But I was just looking at these betting stats again over at Sports Chat Place and the betting tools, and so that over under plus they have the over under. So one of the things under the betting tab on the standings, they have over under rating, which I wasn't sure what that was, and what that means is just how many times it's gone over versus under or something, and what that differential is. But then they have the amount of points that these teams average going over or under, the totals for the season. So the Bengals actually 3 points, they average that their games go average of 3 points under, while the Ravens actually their games average a half point under the total as well. So pretty interesting. I never really have looked at that stuff, but we have it. We have crazy amounts of stats and tools now. I don't even know what we have. We have so much, but super exciting to have this on our websites, and I suggest everyone take a look over at PickDawgz and at Sports Chat Place under the betting tools. 2 totally different sets of tools, but both of them just packed with information. Stuff that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, not only us giving y'all out info on sports and winners. You can go check out the data on both of these. Like Mitch just went and looked at the under and the over on the Cincinnati game I just gave out. Y'all can do the same thing. Just go straight to the website, check it out on the spread, the over, the under. Any games that's on there. I mean, we're trending in the right direction with stats and everything. And go check us out, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting because Al Ninos and I was talking about those point differentials, but when you look at the average winning and losing margin of those two teams that he was discussing, and once again, all options to look at things at when looking at these betting tools, the Texans actually have been losing 19.2 points per game is their average losing margin, but still the Cardinals 14.2. They can't get to that 18. That number is that. So I don't know. That one's. Do you have a premium on that game?
Scary.
No, I don't.
What do you think? What do you think of this thing? I mean, it's like now Ninos is thought provoking all of a sudden. What do you
think? I think if anybody can beat the Cardinals by 3 touchdowns, or beat Houston by 3 touchdowns, it's the Cardinals. The ways
what's
Murray
Green Bay on Thursday?
Well, that's the one thing. The short field. If they're, the short week, they may be up by 3 touchdowns and then rest. If they
you think it's maybe a first half bet? Bet the first half.
I'll tell you a bet I did that I put on. I seen Arizona Cardinals team total 33 points. I see them scoring over 33 points the whole game. Or like you said, the first half bet, you're gonna get a 7 or 9. I see them being up by 2 touchdowns first half. So I think the halftime bet's the way better. Or the first half team total for the Cardinals was 20 points, so they got scored 3 touchdowns.
Oh,
I like that too.
Oh, in our betting tools, we have first half, first quarter, and third quarter. We have all kinds of stats here. I don't have time to look at all this stuff, but we have everything.
So that does tell you a lot. When the first half team totals 20, the second half team, or for the full game, it's only 30. Is it
33.
30.5? 33?
I think
It tells you a
33.
lot. Yeah, 33. So it tells you the books think they're going to score the majority of their points in that first half.
Yeah. And I like me said, they got Green Bay on Thursday. I look for them to rest players. They get a big lead and just rest. And that's where you're going to get your backdoor cover if somebody's got, Houston. They scored 2 or 3 touchdowns the second half against second string defense or whoever's out there. And then Cardinals can't move the ball up because they got their second string quarterback, third, whatever they have in. And then
because it is any given Sunday.
The Cardinals win the first quarter 66% of the time they cover, and the Texans 33% in the first quarter of covering. So there's the.
I would like to give out an NBA play.
Go ahead.
If you don't care, Mitch.
What the hell? We're not doing anything.
I was going to put this in as a premium play last night. The odds wasn't up there, so I didn't get to put it in. But I love the 76ers and the Oklahoma City Thunder to go under the total of 218. I see this in the 90s. The Oklahoma City Thunder can't score. 76ers, they ain't the team that was last year. They play better. They're a good defensive team, so that's going to hold the Thunder down even more. I don't see both of these teams. It may be 100 to 1 to 100, but the first one to 100, I think, wins.
All right. So under. Under the Thunder. What do you got for sale today?
I got my spooktacular 5-pack plays I got going on for Halloween. I want to throw that out there. 4 NFL plays and one one NBA play that I really love. Guys, if you look at the last 7 days, I'm 20-11. I've been red hot the last week. Young season in the NBA. I'm at the top of the leaderboards in the NBA, plus in college football, plus in the NFL. So go grab this 5-pack, guys, after we go 5-0. And upgrade 3, 7, or 30 days, or team me up with any of these cappers you see on the show, or it's on the site, guys. I say this all the time. We got the best cappers in the world, and we do. So team me up with one of them, and we'll put some money in your pockets, fellas.
All right. Well, thanks, James, for joining us. We will see you next week. And, of course, all week long on the drive-thru as well.
Best of luck, James.
Thank you, Al. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'll see y'all next week.
All right. That was James Clark. And still got a ton of guests to come, so be sure to stay tuned. Smash that like button. And, of course, if you haven't entered our office pool contest, do it. We've had we had 1,000 subscribers in the last 3 days to our YouTube channel, and that means the prize doubles in the office pool. So be sure to do it. 1,000 subscribers in 3 days. So that's, like I said, I put the number down that it's got to be at, and we have far surpassed it. So thanks everyone that has subscribed to our channel. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. But
absolutely. And a big hi to everyone that's a regular viewer every Saturday and Sunday too. I love seeing all the names pop up that I'm familiar with.
Yep. Next up, we're going to have Jovan, and then after him, we'll do Al. We'll have Al McMordie. So we got, like I said, plenty of cappers left to go, and plenty of more free picks. And, of course, we've got everyone's best bets always over at PickDawgz.com underneath the Premium Picks tab. And, of course, be sure to check out our new betting tools section, both at PickDawgz and at Sports Chat Place. They're totally different tools, two totally different sets of things, but both of them packed with information, making it easy for you. I mean, our player props, there's no other site on the planet that can touch that. And if anyone can say it, you feel free to mention it in the comments. That anyone that gives you this type of betting tools for free anywhere else, everyone else is charging, and you get less than this. Anyways, Jovan, welcome to the show. What's happening?
Not much on this side. You said you was on Nevada. Well, I was on the other side of that. So just imagine what I saw, how I was feeling, as they were driving down the field. Old Charlie, what's his name? Charlie Strong, something Strong, yeah. Caution Strong.
Yeah.
So just knew it was going to happen.
Oh,
so
the thing is, those receivers were just open all day, and they just seem so much bigger than those Fresno defenders. Don't feel too bad. You know, the bad beats that they show on that network on TV, all the ones that they show in the in the intro piece, I was on the other side of every single one of those. You know, so that Northwestern Ohio State game still leaves a mark. You know,
right.
Oh
right.
Man, was that brutal.
Hey, turn the winning campaign to a losing campaign. One game.
It happens.
You know?
It happens.
That's what happens. It's sports betting.
It hopefully it goes both ways, as long as I was on the other side of that Utah USC game the year they changed the score in the middle of the night. So
I was too.
That was a bad day, bad morning. It was like, and I was in Vegas and did not cash my ticket. That was tough.
Brutal.
It was brutal. But anyways, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, so I'm looking at two plays, both double-digit spreads. You know, so I have a general rule with with anything. Well, let's just say, not to put too much out there, but double-digit spreads. You know, the more the point spread, the bigger the point spread in the NFL, the more I'm looking towards the underdog. And in this game right here, Detroit versus the Rams, you know, I'm gonna look at the underdog here, the Lions. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, double revenge, Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, but the only angle that you could put a revenge on that is with Jared Goff, because, you know, time just ran its course with Detroit and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford wants to win. You know, he wasn't going to win in Detroit, so they had to part ways. But with Jared Goff, you know, they basically did him dirty, you know, his whole time in LA. And, you know, not to say it wasn't warranted, you know, but they did make the playoff. I mean, they did make the Super Bowl with the guy. You know, so I think some of the bashing that, you know, he had to go through, especially, you know, with McVay just constantly would throw him under the bus, it wasn't warranted, you know. So I think that they're not going to try to kill. Well, the Rams aren't going to try to kill Jared Goff in this game. You know, he's just a few months removed from being a Ram. So I think that on the defensive end, at least, they're going to lighten it up on him a little bit. You know, they want to win the game, of course, but I don't think that Matt Stafford wants to kill his old team, you know, like that. He doesn't have the desire to do that. Whereas Jared Goff, on that side, Jared Goff wants to have a good showing against the Rams. There's no doubt about that. So I think that angle, you know, it solely lies on Jared Goff and what he wants to do against his old team. You know, so the back door, I think, will be wide open. The Rams are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 versus a team with a losing record. And, you know, Detroit is 3-3 against the spread this season. So, you know, I take a shot, you know, with this big point spread, 16.5. It might get pushed to 17. You know, take the Lions.
This is going to be interesting. Joe, little Jared Goff for you.
Oh, yeah. Give me Jared Goff all day. No, absolutely not. If it comes down to relying on Jared Goff, there is no way that I can take the Lions plus the points here. But it is a huge point spread, so to take them makes sense. But again, their quarterback is Jared Goff. I think he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the whole league. I will not rely on him to do anything for me this season. I'll take Wentz over Goff any day. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking the Lions plus the points. I think they're bad. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against teams with winning records. They don't come out and produce very much at all. I could see the Rams completely blowing them out of the water on this one. But again, it's another game where if the Rams get ahead, you know, will they lay off? Probably not. I can see the Rams dominating this one from start to finish, and Jared Goff being embarrassed back with his playing against his old team. I don't see him showing up at all today. Jared
Goff is terrible, and I don't think he got the short end of the stick. I totally disagree with you there, Jovan, because what he got was an absolutely loaded roster with top-tier free agents and all pros and Hall of Famers to get to that Super Bowl. He didn't just have Aaron Donald. Ndamukong Suh was standing right next to him. He had everybody on that team. They sold out their first-round picks to get him a cornerback to play defense. They gave him everything. Wide receivers, everything. And you know what he does? This is what Jared Goff does. If you've ever seen the Jared Goff play, this is exactly what he does. The 40-second clock goes right down to the last second every single time. So the defenders, they're just loaded up to tee off on him. It's like, if I can see this on TV, then I'll tell you what, every defensive coordinator in the world can see this as well. He waits until the last second is on that clock to snap it. There's no deception. There's no obviously, and this is why they tee off on him. And this is why he's always under pressure. I never understood why this guy was the first overall pick in that draft. It made no sense at all. At Cal, they were 6-0 to start the season, his last year there, and then they lost their last 6 games when they got into conference play against the better teams. And that's what this guy is. It's like when he has enough that his teammates can carry him, he can get it done. But in the Super Bowl, wide open receivers, he couldn't hit him, in the end zone. Remember that pass? The guy was, standing in it was Woods, right? He's standing in the end zone wide open, and this guy throws it through the uprights.
Yeah, he absolutely panics, and he needs those weapons around him, and he doesn't have the weapons in Detroit. You give him a team full of offensive weapons, and he looks like a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, he's not.
He sucks. I feel better. I said it.
So do I. Got it off my chest, too. There we go.
I got it all out of my system. I had the Rams in that Super Bowl, and I'm still holding a grudge. It was him that lost it for me single-handedly. They scored 3 points.
Hey, they was going against the pass. What you expect? Jared Goff.
Oh, and you got Todd Gurley, and you got Aaron Donald, and they held Tom Brady to 13 points. They had him. They held him basically without a touchdown almost the entire game.
Very true.
It was sad to watch.
Hey, they do have Jared Goff, but
just brought up some really bad.
Hey, all of what you say about Jared Goff is probably true, maybe true, but when you have a head coach that openly week after week throws them under the bus, knowing that in their losses, stands up on that podium and does that, it just doesn't sit well with me.
Well, he just did it again. Now they're doing it in Detroit. They're saying the same thing about him. So it can't be everybody else. At a certain point, it's you, right? So it's like,
oh no, it's not. It's not about it being everybody else. It's just that the way you do things as a team, So that's all.
I say the same thing. There's no I in team, but if things go wrong, we point fingers and assign blame, and that's what that's what we do. We're name callers. We point fingers. We assign blame, and we don't sit with that. Oh, we're not going to mention any names because they know who they are, right? It's like, no, we all know who it is. It's Goff.
Yeah, Jovan, throw in a jersey, and I will bet Detroit over you being in the quarterback position over Goff.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, this guy stinks. I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett than him. I'd rather have Case Keenum than him. He's like a bad
for
case.
Sure.
It's like he stinks.
That's taking it too far. Case Keenum,
I'd rather
There's
have.
The line.
The Lions. The Lions are the organization that brought us Eric Hipple. This is the same organization. They're calling for John Blau. It's like, this is bad.
John Blau, huh? Sheesh.
Yep. That's where we're going. Anyways, Ruffalo is probably like, I think Jake Luton's available. Loves Luton. I saw Luton take that coin toss in that overtime for Seattle. So he was out there on the field. Anyways, you got another game for us, or?
Yeah, we're gonna look at this Chicago Bears, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, and a lot of people looking at the Bears, but I'm on the Bucs in this one. Tampa Bay's banged up. That's true, but as long as you have Tom Brady, man in the ship, you should be okay. And going against the Bears team that, with a rookie quarterback and Justin Fields, who has a 2 TD to 3 interception ratio and is completing 53.5 or whatever completion completion percentage. That's not good. I don't care if Tampa Bay can't pass defense is bad or whatever. With numbers like that, they should be able to hold down Justin Fields. So they're also 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 road games versus a team with a losing record, and 1-5 in their last 6 as a road underdog. So on the other hand, you have Tampa Bay, who's 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games, following an ATS loss, and 4-1 in their last 5 as a home favorite. And head-to-head, the home team is 4-0 in the last 4 meetings. So I expect Tom Brady to do what he does, even though he doesn't have the players to throw the ball to. I think Antonio Brown's out. There's other question marks. I think he'll find a way to get a nice 14-point victory against the Bears.
Joe, what do you think?
I'm undecided on this game, to be honest with you guys. We look at this Bucs team that just has not been covering the spread. They're 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games. Going against a Bears team, Justin Fields is not great. I loved him in college. He's just not up to that level right now with the Bears. He will be an elite quarterback. But this Bears team has been covering. They're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 versus the Bucs. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to touch a side in this one. We have seen that total come down. The Bucs opened as a 12.5-point favorite, down to 11.5-point favorite now. I would be more looking at this under the total. We've got an under of 47. The under is really strong, hitting in 5 of the last Bears games. So I'd look at the under.
Yep, I'm with Joe on the under in this thing. I think that I'd take Justin Fields over Jared Goff any day of the week. At least he's got upside and he can run. We've seen the ugly 117 passing yards per game for the Bears. The Bucs 340.7. It's the number 1 passing offense against the number 32 passing offense in this game when you look at the offensive side. And the Bucs stout against the run, number 1 against the run, but lousy against the pass. So maybe this is Justin Fields' day. He's got some good receivers on that team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that Bears defense. And you got to remember that the Bears hit Brady so hard last year that he didn't know what down it was, right? He thought it was 3rd down. It was 4th down, and they ended up losing the game. So, I don't know. I think he's going to get hit again. Should be a good one. I like the under 47. What do you got for sale today at PickDawgz?
Hey, before I mention that White Sox Boston series back in 05 it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one. And you left out the part where it was Big Papi and Manny Ramirez
back to back. He struck
back to back.
Yep.
And it struck him out.
Yeah, El Duque.
Yeah, absolutely. In Fenway Park.
That was a special year for me.
Bases. I think bases might have been loaded, and it was the 8th inning. Bases might have been loaded.
That was
Yeah.
It was I think that was the last year that El Duque pitched, but man, was that guy good.
Yeah, he was.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, but so what I have 5 plays, Show Me the Money Sunday NFL 5-pack. Last week took a beating, but I bounced back on Thursday, had the Cleveland Browns. So hopefully, have a winning Sunday today. 44.99. So let's get it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming by. We'll see you next Saturday. Next Saturday is a good card of college football too. So you might want to grab that weekly package, because it's like next Saturday you got Michigan, Michigan State, you got Florida, Georgia. It's gonna be a good one.
Going to be fantastic.
Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State, Penn State.
So many great games.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.
Jovan Burts joining us. Always fun to talk to. Oh, Goff got the short end of the stick. We're not gonna let him live that one down anytime soon.
No.
We're gonna be mentioning that
No,
one.
he didn't. He got everything he wanted, and he still couldn't pull it together.
And then some. He got like they opened the checkbook, on that team, and basically went all in on the Super Bowl there, and he still couldn't get it done. He just couldn't hit wide open receivers. He choked, right? I mean, it was just a choke. The pressure got him, and of the situation, not even the pressure of the defense. It was just the pressure of the situation. Anyways,
his picture went in the dictionary after that game.
Let's bring in
under choker.
Let's bring in Big Al. He is red hot right now. Got that Michigan big win over Northwestern yesterday on the show, and the cover.
Yeah, my Michigan Wolverines. That was nice win for us, Mitch. I should just put on my Michigan hat. What do you think?
That's fine, but
no, I'm not gonna wear that.
Is that the Bo Schembechler edition? They have.
It is.
They have
it is. Took me a while to get it too.
It's actually
continue that model.
If you're gonna wear a Michigan hat, that's the one to wear. For me, my Miami baseball hat is the one that I always like. Anyways, we have Michigan State is next Saturday, so I'm sure that will be a good one. Harbaugh, not such a great record against Michigan State, I don't believe.
He doesn't. Well, we don't have a good record against many good teams.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's going to be interesting. What's going to be interesting is to see the rankings this week, to see if Oklahoma moves up and Cincinnati moves down after Oklahoma squeaking by Kansas and Cincinnati squeaking by Navy. We know that Cincinnati squeaking by, they'll be punished, and Oklahoma will be applauded. Ohio State for beating a 2-5 Indiana team will probably be number one.
Oh, boy.
And Penn State for losing because they play on ABC this week against Ohio State will not drop out of the top 10 at all. But Oklahoma State will be at 30th.
I tell you, did you watch any of the 9 overtimes?
I had Penn State in the game, so I had turned it off. But I saw some of it, and Penn State has not had a lot of luck in overtime in recent years.
Yeah, well, for such an idiotic, inane, absurd overtime rule, it was oddly compelling. So.
Yeah, I don't like that 2-point rule. I think it's nice if you have the underdog, and you're good. That's the nice thing about it. It's like there's nothing worse than getting 3.5, and the other, like, that's what happened with the Patriots last week against the Cowboys, getting the points, and then they score the touchdown in overtime on us.
Right. I was right there. I had the Patriots. That was fun.
Yep. So
crazy.
If they would have had this rule, we would have only lost by 2. I would have been in a lot better mood.
Huh. Well, let's talk about some pro football today. I'm going to look at the New England Patriots New York Jets game, and I see the numbers ticking up. It's now up to 7.5 at Pinnacle. It's 7 at most other places. And I'm going to look to go against New England here. They have a negative scoring margin on the season. And I don't like laying 7 or more points with teams with negative scoring margins in certain situations. This one actually fits the bill, and it fits a system of mine, a negative system that's 144 and 245 against the spread going back to 1980 when a team with a negative scoring margin is laying a touchdown or more to a certain losing team. So I do like the Jets just because of that alone, but then even better, the New York Jets are rested. And we talked about Michigan yesterday being rested. In college football, I really like to play on the strongest teams with rest, the big favorites, teams laying 20 or more, et cetera. In the NFL, I like playing on the worst teams with rest. It really does benefit the really crap teams in the NFL, and New York certainly qualifies there. And when you get a rested team in the NFL with a win percentage below 333, if those teams are getting 6 or more, those teams are 68 and 38 ATS going back to 1980. And I like the Jets here, plus the 7.5 if you're playing over at Pinnacle.
Joe, what do you think? The JETS, Jets.
Yeah, I really do think the Patriots are due for a win. The 7.5 points with it climbing. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to cover that. But then we look at the Jets. They're only 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. So scares me to put my money on them as well. I'm looking more at this under. We've got a total of 42.5. I think this under is a good spot to bet. 8 of the last 11 meetings between these two has hit that under.
Joe is a disclaimer. She's a Zach Wilson hater and a Sam Darnold lover. So
it is true.
She's got a grudge going on there. But I don't know. These divisional games, it's always these teams are built to play one another. And the Jets the Patriots won the first one. It's tough to beat the teams in your division twice. And the Patriots have struggled to do that throughout the years. Yeah. To be honest with you, look at the record against Miami. I think that this is probably going to be a closer game than a lot of people think. Mac Jones isn't a real blow it out kind of guy either. He's been a check down passer. He completes 26 of 30. They're all 3 to 4 yards. There's nothing to that. I don't know, extended handoff guy. I could see the Jets covering here. I don't love it, but I could see it. I think the Jets have some talent on this team. I think they really do. I like that Michael Carter, the running back. I think at wide receiver, they have some good players.
They do, as long as Zach Wilson can get the ball there.
Well, I think he looked pretty good the last time we saw him.
He does, but he gets picked off so much.
He does.
He does, and I think I've already hit that bet. I actually need to look.
Joe had the futures on over-under for Zach Wilson interceptions for the season. I believe he's already over.
Yeah,
nice.
I believe so too.
What else do we have for today?
Well, I'm going to look at the big AFC North division matchup between the Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens playing very well. Baltimore, I'm kind of rooting for them this year. They're my futures wager at 16-1 to win the Super Bowl, but I think this is going to be a tough situation for them to win. They are playing their third straight game at home, and they won the first 2 against the Colts and the Chargers, and they scored a lot of points in each of those 2 home wins. They scored 31 versus the Colts. They got 34 versus the Chargers. And when you look at how teams do when they're playing a 3-game home set in the NFL, if they've won the first 2, they generally don't cover the spread in the third game. I think they're 49-78 with a push going back to 1980. Another bad situation is when teams have back-to-back wins at home and they score more than 30 points in each of those 2 home wins. And then the next game, whether it's at home or on the road, they're not very good. They're 46-72 against the spread, 38%. So I like Cincinnati here, plus the 6. You might still be able to find a 6.5, but it's coming down to 6 in a lot of places. And I would take the points with the Bengals.
Joe, what do you think?
Those are really strong stats, Al. It makes me really think more about this Ravens team because very good point. I did not know that stat about them at home on that third game. It seems really easy to take the Ravens in this situation, and now you have me questioning it. That's what I think on this.
I think the Bengals are a team that wants to be there, and I think the Ravens are a team that's there. And I think that, while the Bengals have a lot of things going in their favor, I like the way, I like a lot of the draft choices that they made. I think Chase is going to be a superstar. I think all those things. I think Joe Burrow has a chance to really be a guy that's around for a long time in the NFL and really be one of those quarterbacks that kind of like Matt Ryan. It's like this team's not always good, but he's kind of still there, right? And it's like, he's still a viable option. He's a lot better than Jared Goff also. And, I just think that, but Lamar Jackson is just a freak. And he makes teams look bad. And, and I think a team like the Bengals, it's more like a growth project in Baltimore. I think he's going to make them look bad. I don't think I've been watching football forever, and I've never seen anything like this. It's like, Michael Vick was close, but he was more pure speed, not like just this, I mean, it's like he's in a shoebox and they can't tackle him, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like he just makes teams look so bad. It's like
he does. I think he's the next GOAT of the newer quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable thing to see, It's just every time you see it, it's kind of just like, how did they not get him? How did that happen? And then he can also just take off and be 60 yards down the field like a college quarterback. You see guys do it in college and then they get to the NFL and, well, everybody's fast in the NFL. Well, they're not as fast as this guy. This is an unbelievable thing to see. And it's like, that he gets a lot of flack because of his arm, but, when you're that elusive, an NFL wide receiver or tight end is going to get open if they have that much time. They will. I don't know. I think the Bengals might be in trouble.
I think it's going to come down to the end. I think maybe we'll see a 70-yard field goal on the last play by Tucker. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
The team with the most points will win this game.
That is true. I really like what I see out of Joe Burrows too. He is a fantastic quarterback. I can't believe the confidence he came. No, he's not, and he came back with confidence after that injury, which just is outstanding because that was such a terrible injury last year.
Yep, that was that futures bet I had. Burrow to win the Heisman plus whatever it was, 3,000 or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I had a picture of the ticket, I had the ticket and I would show everyone every show. And then I took a picture of it and I would show everyone. It's like Joe Burrow to win the Heisman. People were like saying it like week 8, it's like I had it before the season. But I don't know. It's I think this is, once again, divisional game and I could definitely see a scenario where it goes either way. I could see the Bengals keeping it close. We've seen the Bengals in 2 overtime games already this season. So
yeah, we saw what happened with Green Bay. Like that was a fantastic game.
Yeah, and then there was the Minnesota game also went to overtime.
Yeah,
first game. So they've been.
Yeah, this Bengals team doesn't give up.
God, Lamar Jackson though, it's like so good.
Yeah, exactly. It's Lamar. He is a mic drop right there.
Yeah,
he's just absolutely outstanding.
He's definitely my favorite player, I think, for offense. Most of my favorite players are defense, but I like Lamar. What do you have today for us? You've been red hot lately, so tough to go against you here.
Yesterday was a bittersweet day, Mitch. I was 9-5, but I also lost my favorite play, which was on the Iowa State Cyclones. So it was one of those days where you don't know whether to be happy or not be happy. But it was a winning day, so I'm not going to complain all that much. So far, I think over the last several weeks, we're 70-37. Our last 107 in the NFL, 26-11. The last 37, including a perfect 7-0 on totals this year. I've got one totals play on Sunday's NFL card. Overall, I have 7 NFL plays today at PickDawgz. I also have 3 NBA plays, including my NBA game of the month for October. So a total of 10 plays across basketball and football today. Nothing in hockey. I'll probably start my NHL selections maybe in the middle of next week will be when I'll have my first NHL play. But if folks want to go to PickDawgz and jump on board for a week or for a month, we will have hockey in a couple days. And that's the best value to join for a week or for a month.
Have you had a chance to take a look at our betting tools over at Sports Chat or at PickDawgz yet?
Briefly last night, right before I went to sleep, I only got about an hour and a half of sleep, so I didn't get a lot of time to look. But I wanted that's on my list of things to do.
Yeah.
To go there because I know Mitch and I have talked about this. These tools that I guess this is just the first rollout, right? You're gonna have lots of tools. That will be coming
we wanted to get something out the door. We're hoping to shoot for NFL Week 1. The Sports Chat Plays tools, completely different set than the PickDawgz tools. The PickDawgz tools are all dog related. The Sports Chat tools are more just betting, and it's a much more robust option of choices and different ways to look at it. But yeah, it's just the first way we wanted to get something out the door.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because I know the company that you're working with, and I've seen their suite of tools, and it's unbelievable all the stuff that they have. So I'm excited to see the layout or the stuff that comes onto the site over the next several months.
Yeah, most of the websites out there use one of 2 options as far as their data and tools. And while both of those are super good companies, Don Best and Sports Data IO, these guys are kind of like the Rolls Royce of the sports data, and it's like they won't work with everybody, so it's like they don't have to. So it's like we're just really excited that they've chose us to be their first direct to the public platform. It's unbelievable. I mean, obviously they didn't know me that well, so they said, "Oh, we could work with this guy." I told them I've been fired from every job I ever had, but didn't push them away. They kind of like that for some reason. But anyways, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you coming by as
Talk to you
always.
next weekend.
Yeah, next Saturday should be a great day of games.
Yeah, it'll be the last day Michigan's undefeated.
Well, possibly.
Okay, I'll talk to you then. Maybe I'll pick it on the show.
I like Florida next week. I'm telling you right out of the gate. I like them against Georgia. All right.
Okay.
We got
Talk to you later, guys.
we still got a slew of guests left. We got Chris Ruffolo coming up next on the show. And, man, this is a packed show. This is our biggest NFL show we've ever had. It's fantastic. I think it's our biggest show. And everyone really strong opinion. Not a lot of games on the board today, but a lot of strong opinions and a lot of really good angles. Stuff that kind of make me look at the bets I made and say, maybe maybe it's easy to second guess yourself, right? It's like,
it is for sure.
It's like I had all these things that I loved, and then all of a sudden I was like,
Well, especially when Al throws those kind of stats at us, it really makes you start thinking.
Oh, absolutely. These guys are, that's the difference. That's why these guys are the pros. It's like, it's doing all the homework. And that's, people are like, I would never buy picks, or I don't want to buy picks. I mean, the picks are for people that don't have the time or don't want to do the homework. But you can see just the homework and everything that's going into the free picks. So, imagine what they think are the best angles and that their homework produced. So it's like, that's the difference. And those are the picks, that while I don't think we have a handicapper on our site, or I don't even know any handicapper on any other sites on Twitter, even the Twitter clowns, right? I mean, even those guys, they always try, we all try and win them all,
Oh,
some
for
people,
sure.
Some people just have a proven track record and are just better at it than others. And, just know which angles are more important than others. But speaking of angles, we got Chris Ruffolo with us. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. And by the way, happy birthday. It's our second one spent together on the PickDawgz morning show. So I'm decided not to pop out of the cake this year.
Well, I know you went against my Canes yesterday and you paid the price. That happens. You weren't alone. A lot of doubters out there, a lot of YouTube haters, the worst kind. But
yeah, I wasn't a YouTube hater. I just thought I saw an angle, and clearly I saw the wrong one.
I mean, the Canes have found ways to lose games this year, and they certainly gave NC State plenty of chances to cover in that game, and they were unable to do it. But what do you got going on today for us?
I only got the one play today, and it's one that I actually really like a lot. Whenever I've been coming on these morning shows on the NFL, I like to give out the money line dogs. I'm going to go back to the well with one that I've given out before. The Las Vegas Raiders, coming off that great win over the Denver Broncos, silencing people about that John Gruden saga. But I think they're for a bit of a letdown here against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Broncos were banged up in that game, nowhere near 100%. And Philadelphia comes into this game, despite losing 4 of 5, they've been playing some pretty decent football, especially on the defensive side of the football. And, the thing about Las Vegas is that they rely a lot on big plays, chunk plays. They've had, I believe, 32 plays of at least 20 yards this season, while Philadelphia, second fewest in the league allowed, giving up just 11 plays over 20 yards this season. And the Eagles actually match up defensively pretty well with the Raiders because the Raiders don't run the football well, and that's what the Eagles struggle to defend. While we all know how well the Raiders can move the ball through the air, and the Eagles have the 5th best pass defense in the league. And if they can negate Derek Carr, I think they've got a good chance to win this game outright. We've seen Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders start to really move the ball on the ground, and Hurts is starting to get comfortable moving that offense. And I think if he can do it I think the Raiders might be in a little bit of trouble here. I think I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles on the money line in this one.
Joe, last week, the Raiders were in turmoil, and you loved them in Denver. What do you think about them this week against this Eagles team?
I absolutely love them again. This Eagles team with Jalen Hurts, yes, he's got a great completion record, 62.5. Derek Carr is coming in with completion rating just above that at 64.2. But the difference is Carr is able to make these big passes more so, I believe, in my opinion, than Jalen Hurts. We see him passing for 1,964 yards and 10 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts still good at 1,480 yards, but Carr, I think, is having one of his best seasons. We've seen him in some letdown spots. That game against the Bears was absolutely terrible. I don't think we see Derek Carr fall back to that again this season. I think he has a fantastic game here, and the Raiders take this one.
I'm on the Raiders, too. I've been against Ruffolo's moneyline picks, I think, every single one that he's given out, and I think I've mixed or bad results doing so. So, we saw the Eagles win on the road in Carolina. Similar spot, but I don't know. I think the Raiders maybe playing with a little bit of fire right now after everything that happened there. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the NFL. I think that, if they release all of those emails, I don't think there's going to be a coach left, is my guess. There's not going to be anyone left who's, last one out, turn off the lights type situation. But I don't know. I just think the Raiders are the better team. I think the Eagles have some deficiencies here, and I think when you trade away your tight end, who's kind of like your heart and soul of your team, you're basically saying we're not playing for this year anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And they're 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games as a road underdog. This team doesn't perform on the road as an underdog.
I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think that both these teams have really invested in the wide receivers and, in speed. So I just
and when we look at the Raiders, 8 of the last 11 have gone over the total as well.
Yeah, I think, you have Denzel Perriman on the Raiders, who's like, he's the type of guy that can really track down a guy like Hurts. They'll probably have him, spying on him, and he's just such a sure tackler. I mean, those Miami linebackers are. Anyways, I don't know. Tough for me to rally behind you with this one, but of course we'll be on for halftime of this one, so might be able to hit this one again. Looking at some of the lines here for some of these other games to see if anything has moved. Chiefs Titans at 4, the Packers at 8.5, Giants 3, Ravens 6, Jets. I show 7 still in that one. Lions 16.5. This game I show at 2 now. You still like it at 2? Oh, you like it money line?
Yeah.
Money line plus 110. You still see the value there?
Yeah, I got it earlier in the week. I think at plus 165. I think when it was a few days ago, but I still like it. I still think that the Eagles win this game. Both their wins this season have come on the road, so I still like it.
All right. Well, you have another game, or you?
No, I only had the one for today.
All right. Well, what are you selling?
Now today I got my Sunday Smash NFL 5-pack, 5 plays that I absolutely love for this NFL weekend. Probably 5 of my favorite plays for the entire season so far. I got those for $49.95 over at PickDawgz Premium, or I got one play by itself. My Insider's Edge, $29.95 for one specific game on the card today. That's one play that you do not want to be on the wrong side of, so check that out. I also got an NBA 3-pack as well up. Off to a nice start in the NBA, and I think we can't go wrong. We had a nice winning day yesterday. We're going to keep it going, finish the week strong here.
What do you think about Al Ninos' pick of Boston minus 200 for the NHL against the undefeated Sharks? You have a premium on that or anything, or are you free to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm okay to talk about it a little bit.
Let's talk about this for a second. Because, I mean, puck line, you said.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is,
the The penny was
Sharks
clearly on the Sharks. I mean, it was tails.
Okay,
it wasn't like the Magic 8 Ball ask again later that we get sometimes. This was a clear.
If the penny's on the Sharks, I've got to be on the Sharks. No, but realistically, Boston was ticked off after being blown out by Philadelphia, and they got their frustrations out on Buffalo yesterday. So I think the Sharks come in, go gangbusters.
Money line, or are you going to take them puck line?
I'm gonna go money line, plus 165, plus 170. With the way that the Sharks have been defending this year, absolutely, it's worth a shot.
Concentrate and ask again, it said.
Chris, what do you think about all of these games that are so tight going to the OT?
You know what? Rod and I talk about these sometimes on the videos. If you're seeing a lot of games go to overtime, or even if you look back historically and see, overtime is a constant trend in some of these games, take a look at that three-way line, the 60-minute line, because you take the tie after 60 minutes, sometimes you're getting plus 280, plus 300, 350, and I think that's sometimes worth value sprinkling a couple bucks on. But part of me thinks, well, is it there to drum up ratings? Absolutely. But at the same time, the teams are getting better. The goalie equipment's getting smaller. That's why we're seeing higher scoring games, but we're also seeing, a lot more physical checking. We're seeing the game evolve. So, as everybody's evolving, the games are going to be tighter. And I think there is going to be lots more overtime. So I'm all for free hockey, though.
All right.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Chris, you're only here for ratings as well. We appreciate you stopping by, and we will see you on the drive-thru every day. Of course, Chris is also putting up videos every day on the Sports Chat Place YouTube channel. He's going to get that fired up, and I'm going to join him for some stuff. I'm going to help him with the start explaining some of these betting tools that I've been talking about over at Sports Chat Place on these videos as well. So I think he's going to have some of the other cappers join him over there too. So be sure to check him out at Sports Chat Place's YouTube channel. So subscribe over there as well. And then, like I said, Monday through Friday on the drive-thru with Tony T. Once again, thanks, Chris. We'll see you.
Hey, you guys for having me.
You've been working out? Is that your workout gear you got on there?
It might be. I'm trying to look a little bit svelte for the camera, black slimming color.
He's headed to sculpt class right after this. Anyways, thanks, everyone.
Granddad's Donuts. Right up the street.
Best of luck today,
Don't
Chris.
get Rod started on the defrosted Tim Hortons. Anyways,
I'll try not to.
That was Chris Ruffolo. He's been having these money line dogs on the show, and he's been pretty effective with some of them.
Yeah, he has.
So, we have to kind of definitely have to pay attention, but at the same time, I don't have to agree with the pick on there, and I'm free to lose my own money if I want to.
Absolutely. I forgot I was going to make him sing happy birthday to you, so maybe we'll have to get Brian to do that.
Oh, that's going to be brutal. Looking for, I don't know, for some reason I always struggle finding Rod's name tag. Here we go. I should put these all in order. Anyways, Rod, welcome to the show. He's got his sunglasses on his head. Means, what are you going skiing after this, or what's going on?
No, I went out. It was sunny. It was nice. I took your advice and actually bought some sunglasses.
Nice.
I actually own a pair of sunglasses now, and so yeah, I already went out. I took the wife to work in the middle of the show. Ran away from the green room and ran up to got some groceries, came back. So it's a nice sunny day out. Let's get ourselves some more winners like we did yesterday.
Well, you've been hot. You've been hot recently. So, what have you got going on for us today?
Today I'm going to go probably game against going against a few people, but that's how you win being on your own little island. I'm going to go with this Washington Redskins team here at Green Bay. I think this is a primed letdown spot for this Green Bay Packers team. They're missing some guys on defense. Alexander Smith, Kevin King out, Darnell Savage out on the D for this Packers team. And this Washington D, sure, everybody was all high and hyped on him to go in the beginning of the season, and they've definitely underperformed from what they normally have. And but I think they come out and they play solid hard in this game. When you look this Washington Redskins team, they're actually 7-3 their last 10 on the road versus a team with the winning home record, which is what the Packers do. They've been solid at home. Packers 2-5 ATS in their last 7 home games versus a team with a losing road record. I think this is just too many points. I think Packers win by 7. The Redskins plus the 8.5. I think Green Bay is looking a little bit ahead to their next 2 games coming up that they got against the Cardinals and the Chiefs. I don't think they get up so high being in this game and try to slaughter anybody. So I think it's just a 7-point win, and we get a nice cover. Washington plus the 8.5 for me.
Joe, what do you think?
This is a hard one. I've gone back and forth with this one. I really like Green Bay to start, but then looking forward at their schedule, Roger, right, for them to come out and get such a big win might not happen. Washington plus 8.5, I'm seeing, could pull it off. I've had so much belief in this defense that really hasn't shown up yet, and I'm waiting for them. Chase Young is due for a big day. I know there's injuries also on the Green Bay's offensive line, which scares me and leads me to believe that Chase will have that day we've been looking for. When we also look at Green Bay against the spread in their last 7 home games versus teams with winning or a losing record, they are 2-5 against the spread. So at this moment, I think Washington plus the points is the way to go. Earlier in the week, I thought it was the Packers out of the way.
Yeah, I'm not feeling you guys. I don't see it at all. I think Washington absolutely inept this season, and certainly not even close to the team that we saw in the past. The numbers just don't dictate that this is going to happen or be remotely close of a game at all. Washington, just absolutely hideous so far this season, 22.7 points per game. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field, well, I mean, we kind of know what happens here.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's especially against an offense like Washington where, they're going to turn the ball over. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to probably go for it on a 4th down and not make it. And, we know what happens. It's like, nowhere else seems to happen like this, like it does at Lambeau, where all of a sudden the snowball starts rolling and it gets rolling and they're jumping into the crowd. And it's almost like an Ohio State game, right? Where it's like they're beating a bad team and going crazy. And it's just a very, very tough place to get it done. And Aaron Rodgers he's having a lot of fun this season. I don't see it stopping here against the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. And if the defense, kind of like the Miami defense, I'll say the same thing about the Washington defense. It's the offense that's absolutely hung them out to dry. I mean, you cannot be a top-ranked defense if you're on the field for 40 minutes plus every single game. You just cannot. Can't do it.
And I don't think they are this game. I think Green Bay's defense, because the Green Bay's defense is beat up. So Washington will hold on the ball a little longer than what people think in this game, because
what if there's so we've seen this twice recently in I saw one in college, one in NFL, where there's a fumble and forward progress is they rule forward progress stopped, where the progress is stopped by the ball coming out of the runner's arms and being on the field. I mean, that's to me is why the forward progress stopped. But what are the chances of Washington getting that call in this type of game? Like zero. And what are the chances of the Packers getting a call like that in this game? Like 99.9%. Yeah. So it's like, this is just a bad spot. And with the game on Thursday night, it's like they're going to want the Packers to look real good going into that thing to take on the undefeated Cardinals.
That is a really good angle to look at in this one.
Yeah.
Very good angle.
I've seen this
storyline.
I've seen this act before.
That don't scare me. Short week. Packers don't take this Washington team as seriously as they should, and they get burnt. We get a cover.
Aaron Rodgers.
Or do they want to see them?
I think Green Bay wins the game. That's all they want. They want the win. They're not worried about making sure that they cover by 8
Aaron Rodgers
points.
looks like he's having a lot of fun out there.
I actually think in this one we're going to see a lot of points. I like the over in this. It's dropped down from 48.5. It's down to 47. I think we're going to see Washington put up some points and Green Bay put up some as well. So I think 47 is way too low.
Do you have anything else for us?
I just got the one.
Just the one? How about any hockey? Any hockey?
Sure, I could give you.
How about Vegas against the Islanders?
Yep. Sure. I can chat the Vegas now. As you look, this Vegas team, they started off the season and they have not looked good at all. Their defense is right there at the bottom of the league, giving up goals, plenty. And this Islanders team, they started off the season not so good. They've won their last 2 games and got things rolling around. So for me, I'm going to take the Islanders here against this Vegas team. Sure, I know this is a back-to-back spot for the Islanders. Sometimes the Islanders like to excel in these back-to-back spots. Their hard-hitting defensive style and this weak Vegas defense, I think the Islanders can take advantage. Hold down Vegas. And you look at Vegas's offense, it's not as good as what it has been as well. So they're having trouble putting the puck in the net, which is plays right into the hands of a game plan that the Islanders love. Hit you hard and win these close, low-scoring games. So I think the Islanders take an under as well.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I've got if you think the Islanders can win this at all, it's definitely going to be an under game. I think that is the strongest way to go with this. Vegas just hasn't been able to find the back of the net, like you said, Rod. Again, this one, though, is one I'd rather play the under than a side, because if this goes to overtime, it's going to go to overtime at 1-1, 2-2. So under 5.5 is where I'd sit with this one.
All right. Well, of course, you'll see Rod on our premium and VIP shows following this show. So this is we're really going full tilt on this thing. Oh, my wife just threw a balloon in.
There you go. Is she gonna come sing happy birthday, or are we gonna get Brian too?
No, I'm not singing happy birthday.
Come on, Brian.
I know. I'll tell you who likes these. Sam. Come here, buddy. Come here. Look at this.
What's it under over for how quick it's popped?
Oh, he didn't do it. He's got a ball in his mouth. He couldn't bite it. All right. Well, we'll see you in just a couple minutes, Rod. Thanks again for coming by, as always. And you can catch Rod every day on our live show, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the weekends, and weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, Joe, just one more guest left to go. We all know who that is. Still trying to cash that futures bet on the Dodgers that he made to win that series against the Braves. Great value on that one. Gotta love the value.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't know what to say.
Well, it's always fun. I mean, we could sit here and talk about my losing bets for a long time. I took Oregon and laid 6.5 yesterday in that game against UCLA. I would look to be in the money and then ended up losing. So it happens, but
happens to all of us.
Certainly does, especially when you play those extended lines, which I like to do, and I have a few of those out today. I'll be giving out one of those on the VIP show that I like. So I actually have two that I really like, and I'll give out one of those on the VIP though. Been pretty good with them. Looking for Brian's name here, and let's see. We can't find it, but we know who he is. We'll find it in the meantime. Bring him in. Hello, Brian. How are you? I know you had a winning day yesterday.
Yeah, that always helps. But like Big Al said, my favorite play was Iowa State, and that did not come in. But, a winning day is a winning day, so we'll try to keep it moving forward.
Beats the alternative. That's what I always say.
Yep.
How about the people that say beats a sharp stick in the eye? Like, what doesn't beat a sharp stick in the eye,
I've never heard that expression ever in my life.
Beats a sharp stick in the eye. Yeah, I would say so.
The game I enjoyed the most.
Beats a punch in the nose, but not that one.
How about sitting in gum? You ever sit in gum? It's like
no.
You've never sat on a piece of gum? You've never sat on a piece of gum?
I've never sat on a piece of gum.
Oh, it's the worst.
I guess I always look where I sit before I sit.
Beats sitting on some gum.
Could think of worse things to sit in.
You guys still have about an hour left to join our office pool. The prize pool is double this week. The base prize is double this week because we reached our subscriber quota. So be sure to take advantage. Make sure you retweet the post over at PickDawgz. You got to do that. Read the rules and make sure you retweet that post at PickDawgz for the office pool, or else you're not eligible. It's rule number 1. Brian, what do you got for us today?
I'll tell you what, with my free pick I'm giving out today, and a play that I really love, could have easily been a premium play. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans here, plus the points. They shocked the betting world last week as they took out the mega public bandwagon team, the Buffalo Bills. Now they get a shot at another public humper, Kansas City Chiefs, who did cover last week, but overall have not been a good team against the spread. The last 2 seasons going 4-13 against the spread. Last 17 overall. Chiefs are 1-4 against the spread. Last 5 meetings against this Tennessee Titans team. I still feel the Chiefs will struggle with that Super Bowl hangover. I think it's a 3-point game anyway you slice it. I think the Titans should be able to run the ball up and down on this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Chiefs might pull out the win, but I think the Titans get the cover. Take the Tennessee Titans plus the points.
Joe, what do you think of this one?
This one it can go either way for me in this one. I could see a situation where the Chiefs just outplay them offensively and the Titans fall behind quick because this is Patrick Mahomes. And I think there's too much weight being given on this Titans team. I really do. When we look at any other season, this Chiefs team would have been a way bigger favorite in this game. The Titans did have a fantastic game. Derrick Henry's playing amazing. But again, I can't get behind this Titans team. Then we look at the stats. The underdog's 4-1 in their last 5 meetings. So the Titans have kept this tight. Chiefs haven't been covering the spread. This is one that I can't get on a side of.
I have to say I like the Chiefs in this one. I think they're going to ring them up. And not because I understand the reasoning. I understand all those things. But you have a Titans team on a short week. And I don't know if you guys listened to that game with the sound on. I generally don't, but I had the sound on that game. And it was thunderous hitting in that game. They are going to be worn down. It is a short week for the Titans. And it was a super physical game against the Bills. They got the win. But man, they lost. Those are the type of games where the guys feel those hits, 25 years from now. It was that kind of game. And I think that when you have guys like Tyreek Hill and those other Chiefs guys bouncing around back there, man, they're going to be feeling it in the fourth quarter. I really don't want to be on the other side of Patrick Mahomes after his defense has been kind of worked over like that. Also, Ryan Tannehill, the probability of him putting together 2 quality performances back to back is slim and none. I'm going to take the Chiefs here.
And that's
also Brian's on the Titans, sure. So that's us.
Well, I really liked Rod's play on the Washington too. But we have 2 super public teams with the Packers and Chiefs, and I just think the Titans are gritty.
How's that anti-Packers angle treating
Packers
you this year?
Packers are 5-1 against
5-1 against
They've covered 5 straight games, so they don't give away money at the sports books, and they'll get those Packers guys. So hopefully today's the day on that one. But yeah, I just think the Titans are a gritty home team, and the Chiefs, something looks off with them this season. Mahomes is awesome. We all know that. They have a great offense, but their defense is just
terrible.
Pretty sad.
Terrible.
So we'll see what happens.
I think you can go with the Derrick Henry props, the over yards and stuff on that. I agree with you there. I just think that we're probably going to see a higher scoring game, and I think that what we've seen in Titans-Chiefs games is when it gets late in the game, Patrick Mahomes kind of works them over a little bit.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think this line isn't reflecting. It's still Patrick Mahomes. Like, Kansas City hasn't been as good as we've seen them, but I don't know. I can't disrespect Patrick Mahomes and take the Titans plus the points in this one.
We could see the Chiefs up 11 points late, and that defense at KC could easily let the Titans roll down the field for a backdoor cover. So you got that 4-point mark. That's a key number here.
All right. You have another game for us, or is that all for you today?
Nope. That's my specialty. But, if just one off the cuff, I kind of like the Orlando Magic here, getting a ton of points against the New York Knicks. I think the Knicks are a top 5 Eastern Conference team, but they're not a team that blows teams out of the water. It just seems like a lot for the Knicks to be laying here. Just the lean. I like the Orlando Magic.
All right. What do you got for sale today?
I'll tell you what, going for 7 straight winning days. And like you mentioned before, I don't do many totals, but I got another total today. I'm trying to hit 5 of my last 7 NFL totals going back 2 seasons. So make sure you pick out my NFL Pound Zone 3-pack. You get my 3 best bets of the day for $40 at PickDawgz.com, premium picks, or just pick up that total. I think it's a total no-limit bet. So pick it up at PickDawgz.com.
Today was one of the longest shows we've ever had, a complete 2-hour show. But at the same time, we covered every game on the NFL card today on this show across the board. So hopefully you guys got some great information. We got some other picks that came in as well on some of the other sports. Some we disagreed with, some we agree with. But, of course, we're here every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and then 10 a.m. on the weekends. The weekday is Brian, Joe, Rod Zawacky, and myself. The weekends is this sort of style where it's kind of the capper open door type thing, and we don't have time limits or game limits or anything like that on anybody. So more for you guys. Like I said, be sure to check out the betting tools section, especially the one over at Sports Chat Place. The PickDawgz one is really good. I think is really good as well for the dogs. Sports Chat one is kind of more. It depends. It's information overload, but you guys should check it out. I'm telling you, it's better than what the other guys are charging for. Have a great day, everyone. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to make it a winning day. And, of course, I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you again, Joe, for spending the morning with me.
And thank you, and happy birthday, Mitch.
Thank you.